is the Euromed Lab, which is the biggest European congress in the field of clinical chemistry and laboratory medicine. Hi guys, and many thanks for joining me. If you are new to my channel, hi, I'm Kat and I like to talk about crimes, conspiracy theories and all sorts of related things. Please don't forget to make sure you hit that big red subscribe button below and also hit the notification bell so you are the first one to know about any new videos I upload. For my returning subscribers and viewers, I would like to thank you all so much for all the continuous support and all the lovely messages I always read from you. This is what keeps me going. Thank you so much. In today's video, I want to talk to you about another guest at the Ocean Club Resort at the time of Madeleine McCann's disappearance. But before we get started, here is the disclaimer. I do not mean to be disrespectful to anyone I talk about in today's video. The video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The information I collect is from the internet. I compile this information, I make a video, and from this you guys are more than welcome to draw your own conclusions. Thank you. Jan Lewandowski, according to Ocean's Club check-in list, made a booking through Thomas Cook, arrived at the resort on the 29th of April 2007 and left on the 3rd of May 2007, on the same day of Madeleine's disappearance. And as far as I understand from the check-in list, they were a group of 4 people. Unfortunately, for some reason, there are no flight information such as the flight number on the Thomas Cook arrivals compared to Mark Warner, which have the flight numbers, which is a bit weird if you think about it. So, I was trying to find out if indeed Jan Lewandowski used the UK airport at Gatwick or Manchester for the return flight, or if his departure from the Ocean Club would have been in a country other than the UK. And as it turns out, according to the Aviation Data Unit from April 2007, all flights by Thomas Cook UK to Faro Airport, Portugal originated from the UK and would have been return flights to UK from Faro and no other country. The data is taken from the Civil Aviation Authority database, which is in fact a collection of all the flight logs in and out of British Air. It couldn't have been any other country apart from the UK because the Thomas Cook UK airline, as stated in the guest check-in list at the Ocean Club, operates only flights to and from the UK. Thomas Cook as a whole operated from various countries in the world, but under name variations, such as Thomas Cook Airlines Belgium, which operated in Belgium, logically. So, in my opinion, Jan Lewandowski lived in the UK at the time of Madeleine McCann's disappearance. But there's one thing. When it comes to who this Lewandowski character is, I really have to say it's a tricky situation. I'm not exaggerating when I say I spent a whole week trying to find out who he is, and honestly, I'm a bit stuck. I found more than one Jan Lewandowski, which is not unusual as a lot of names are very common. However, 3 of these individuals caught my attention and I think it's really worth mentioning them. And this way, we can decide together, or you can form your opinion as to whom would be the most suitable to be included in our work holiday in Praia da Luz. The truth is that all of them have a common denominator, which you'll find out about later on in the video. Dr. Jan Lewandowski was a Polish man who lived in Winter Haven, having moved there from Texas, US. He was an obstetrician gynecologist physician in Polk County for 20 years. Lewandowski was a member of the American Medical Association, Florida Medical Association, and the Polk County Medical Association. He also worked for HRS. HRS, the Heart to Rhythm Society, is a leading resource on cardiac pacing and electrophysiology. This specialty organization represents medical, allied health and science professionals from more than 70 countries who specialize in cardiac rhythm disorders. Jan Lewandowski sadly passed away aged 69. His son, however, Piotr Lewandowski, is a gynecologist and obstetrics specialist. He is also the founder of the Novum Fertility Clinic, taking precedence from his father, Jan Lewandowski. Novum Fertility Clinic is a family planning institute. The work ranges from insemination to genetics, sperm bank, cryotransfer, and in vitro. Between 1992 and 1994, Piotr attended IVF clinical training in Germany. In 1995, he attended the European Society of Human Reproduction and Embryology workshop on assisted fertilization by intracytoplasmic sperm injection in Belgium. In 1996, he went to Cambridge, England, for a workshop on gamete and embryo cryopreservation. Embryo cryopreservation is the process of freezing and storing embryos and is a part of most in vitro fertilization programs. The process is chosen for reasons as varied as providing an additional chance for pregnancy or saving embryos in the face of certain medical treatments. Gametes are the reproductive cells. From 1996 to 2013, Piotr got European Society of Human Reproduction and Embryology Certificate of Attendance. From 2005, he had IVM training program in Copenhagen University Hospital in the fertility clinic Medicult. IVM is in vitro maturization. The main difference compared with IVF is that IVM doesn't involve the use of stimulatory fertility drugs. Instead, eggs are collected from the ovaries while they are still immature. They are then grown in a lab for 1 to 2 days before being fertilized and replaced into the womb. In 2006, Piotr went for Working with Difficult Patients training course. Also in the same year, he went for Basic Genetics for Art Practitioners course in Brussels, Belgium. He also got his ASRM Certificate of Attendance from 2008 to 2012. In 2012, he went for Doppler in Gynecology and Obstetrics at Mazurian School of Ultrasonography and Gynecology in Poland. Piotr Lewandowski speaks English, German, Russian and Polish. He is also a member of Polish and foreign scientific societies such as Polish Gynecological Society since 1990s. He is a founding member of the Polish Society of Reproductive Medicine and also a member of ASHRE, European Society of Human Reproduction and Embryology since 1995. He works at his Novum clinic and plays a role in diagnostics, conservative treatment, insemination, determining patient suitability for in vitro, preparing patients for IVF, IVF stimulation, embryo transfers, prenatal care for pregnancies resulting from fertility treatments, IVF stimulation and ovarian biopsy, etc. I know that he is not called Jan Lewandowski, but hear me out on this. Yeah, I know it's a pink straw. I have hundreds of straws and they're all colored, so yes, it matches with the cup. And yes, I lost my fake nails, but who cares anyway. Moving on. We know that the name is on the guest lists, right? We also know there was a party of 4 booked under his name. We don't know the names of the rest. So, I'm thinking, okay, because he is involved in IVF genetics, IVM, and everything to do with fertility, embryos, and so on, he's got his own fertility clinic. If he was part of something bigger and possibly hidden from the rest of the world, or at least the public eye, he would probably want to keep his identity less known whilst at the Ocean Club. And the way I see it, he used his deceased father's first name, Jan, on the check-in list because he was already familiar with the name, being that the surname is also his own. So it wouldn't be such a big deal, okay? So in case of a future investigation or whatever, they wouldn't be able to trace it to him because we can't really say 100% it's him, right? In this case, I believe anything is possible, really. But then there's also another option. Perhaps someone else checking in with him is Jan, and maybe he used the other person's name because he knew not much would be found. As you can see, there wasn't much found though, was it? Even me, I can't really say I'm certain it's him, the same person on the check-in list. And there are so many names on the same list which don't seem to belong to someone specifically. I came across names which send me to celebrity names, famous people, even serial killers, which is a bit realistic if I'm honest. But more on this in another video. We also know there might be errors in the name typed in on purpose or just as a mistake. Look, for example, Weinberger, right? On the list, he's spelled as Weinberger with U. However, he's called Weinberger. Instead of U is an E. Anyway, whichever way I say it, with an U or an E, to me it sounds the same. I think I'm just... the way I say it, it just sounds the same. Anyway, never mind. On the list, Lewandowski is spelled with an R. But in reality, there's no such name but with an N instead of an R. And I came across more than these errors, and because there are so many, it leads me to believe somehow they were made on purpose. Think about it like this. There were, and there are, so many people investigating this case, researching, checking, and double-checking, and checking again, analyzing, and so on, and so forth. Whoever is the so-called head of this cover-up, they planned ahead because they thought that if this gets big, people will start researching and put things together. So the best solution would have been, you know, a misspelling here, another one there, derailing here, another one there, and then it gets muddled up. Because if you can't find a person with that name, or the opposite, if you find too many people with the same name, maybe you give up looking. Which is kind of the purpose of it, if you get what I mean. I mean, as a group of people, like you and me, if we are thousands and thousands of people researching the same thing, we can research more and more than a team of police, let's say, for example, which is a team like what, 4 or 5 people? Yeah, they might have access to more resources than we do, but compared to us, which we are like 10,000, 20,000, thousands of people, because we are not the only ones researching this. We are not like a group of 5-10 people who are researching this. It's a lot bigger. Which brings me to the next individual, Krzysztof Lewandowski, who is a professor at Poznan University of Medical Sciences, Hematology and Bone Marrow Transplantation. There's not a lot of things I could find on him, which again seems a bit strange. His expertise seems to be in CML, which is chronic myeloid leukemia, the type of cancer that starts from the cells in the bone marrow. He's also an expert in thrombosis, hematopoietic stem cell transplantation, clinical hematology coagulation, stem cell transplantation, bone marrow transplantation, molecular hematology, and hematological malignancies. He has over 167 publications, which again makes me wonder why is it I can't find more details on him. Most of his publications focus on leukemia, including neonatal leukemia in plasma, inhibitors, chromosome aberrations, and related to cancers. Basically, that's everything I could find whatsoever on Krzysztof. But Professor Krzysztof Lewandowski number 2 is an expert in endocrinology and diabetology. He graduated with honors from the Medical Academy in Lodz, Poland in 1992. He also studied in Great Britain between 1991 and 1992 at the University of Leeds Medical School. In 1994, he passed the British recognition exam. He is one of the few endocrinologists and internists in Poland who completed full postgraduate training, including specializing exams in Great Britain, even before Poland joined the European Union. After returning to Poland, he obtained the title of habilitated doctor in 2007 and professor of medical sciences in 2012. Between 1995 and 2003, he worked in Great Britain, obtaining a PhD in medical sciences and specializing in internal medicine, endocrinology, and diabetes. He published numerous publications on pituitary diseases, obesity, polycystic ovary syndrome, and gestational diabetes. Krzysztof is a member of the Royal College of Medicine of Great Britain, the Society for Endocrinology UK since 1998, the Endocrine Society USA since about 2002, the European Society of Endocrinology from around 2006, the European Association for the Study of Diabetes since around 1998, the Polish Society of Endocrinology since 2004, the Polish Thyroid Society since 2016, and the Polish Society of Oncological Endocrinology since 2019. He is part of Salve Medica Specialists. Salve Medica is a specialist clinic in Lodz, Poland, with over 50 medical specialist doctors. The clinic provides patients with comprehensive medical care, from diagnosis through medical recommendations to surgical procedures using specialized equipment. Detecting diseases before the onset of symptoms is possible at Salve Medica thanks to modern imaging diagnostics, genetic and analytical labs. They also have a fertility clinic with the highest success rate in the country. On this one, I confess I'm confused. And I am really not quite sure which one is the individual on the guest list. My opinion is that, in my opinion, the most likely would either be Piotr Lewandowski, who has the fertility clinic, for obvious reasons, and then the second choice would be Christoph, who works at Salve Medica. Christoph seems to have studied more in the UK than Piotr. However, Piotr's dad was called Jan. Oh, this is really hard, honestly, so hard. Anyway, what all these individuals have in common is the Euromed Lab, which is the biggest European congress in the field of clinical chemistry and laboratory medicine, with more than 5,000 delegates and 4,000 visitors from over 100 countries. It's organized by IFCC, International Federation of Clinical Chemistry and Laboratory Medicine, and EFLM, European Federation of Clinical Chemistry and Laboratory Medicine. It takes place every 2 years. In 2007, this Congress took place in June, on Thursday the 7th in Amsterdam. After Jerry's scheduled meetings, he was catching up with, and I quote, a friend of mine who was attending a medical conference in Amsterdam, end of quote. So, I believe this friend was Matthew Oldfield, who is believed to have been attending the Euromed Lab 2007 event in the city at that time. I'm gonna show you a photo right now. I'm not sure if you can spot him, but I think that he's the guy on the left in the green shirt, casually dressed. Anyway, even if it wouldn't be him at the Congress, we know Jerry met up with someone in Amsterdam who was attending a medical conference, and the medical conference at the time was Euromed Lab. Jerry and Kate were there for a press conference. And here is the press conference.
We're going to have 1 minute of photographs, please. 1 minute of photographs, and then please sit down.
Madeleine was abducted from our holiday apartment 9 days before her 4th birthday on the night of the 3rd of May in Praia de Luz, which is near Lagos in the Algarve. Despite a very extensive investigation conducted primarily by the Portuguese police but with marked assistance from the British police, we're still uncertain who's abducted her, what the motives are and where she is now. She was wearing pyjamas almost identical to these ones.
these are Madeline's the younger sister, so they're a little bit smaller than Madeline's. As you can see, it's a pink top with a character viola on and short sleeves. White pyjama bottoms with a floral print on, and another picture of Viola on the right leg, lower right leg. So as I say, these are virtually identical to what Madeline's wearing, only they're a little bit smaller, and Madeline's doesn't have a footnote on. And certainly when I've come across similar cases or cases of child harm in the past, I thought, how do people get through that? How do people, and you just don't know how you behave. We didn't know we'd be able to come and publicise it, you know, but we've got strength from somewhere, and we believe it's vitally important, you know, and I can understand why people would say, how can they do that? Because I would have.
But how do you cope with these feet? You seem, you are, relaxed is not the right word, but you seem very well spoken. You think about what you say. How do you feel when you're sitting here and talking about this awful thing, what happened?
I think, you know, we're not going to talk about what happened in any detail. Emotionally, that is incredibly difficult to talk about how we were in, you know, at the time. But we have had a psychologist, and we've had taken a lot from it. And in the very early days and hours after Madeline's abduction, we felt completely helpless. And I've said this before, it was the darkest place imaginable, and many people have said to us it is a parent's worst nightmare, and it is, and it was every bit, and it continues to be as bad as you can imagine.
Got time for perhaps one or two more.
Right. Sir?
Need to get on. Yes.
I have a question. Is the main focus now on Morocco to find her? Is that your hope?
I mean, the main reason really for going to Morocco is we're aware that there was a window where someone could have travelled from Portugal into Spain and then could easily get to Morocco. That's why it's the access really. I'm aware there was an alleged sighting of a child in Morocco earlier on in the investigation. But we don't deal with that. We don't deal with that. I'm not even sure if it's a line of inquiry anymore.
But is it for yourself the main focus, Morocco?
No, I mean, the police investigation, you know, that's very much continuing based in Portugal. They direct the focus. It just happens to be that Kate and I are en route, and we've actually chosen countries probably in priority that we thought was there. But, you know, we don't know where she is, and we want to cover the most likely places that she could have been moved to.
Thank you.
Difficult to talk about how we were in, you know, at the time, but we have had a psychologist, and we've had
so that everyone understands, right? EuroMedLab conference is a congress with medical professionals, scientists and so on, where groups of science people can submit their research or publications, studies, and from each a speaker is chosen to present the publication. As far as I understand, there's some sort of a competition going on there. I'm not sure, and I believe that practically, well, this is my point, practically this research and the work that they do, if interesting enough, then they probably can get funding or sponsors or investors in the projects that they are presenting. I mean, it would make sense the way I see it. And it's also, we have to remember, it's not cheap to attend this. I don't think someone would pay between 400 and 900 euros to attend for no benefit to them. And honestly, I still can't get it out of my head. How can Jerry even think 1 month after Madeleine's disappearance to go and meet up with a friend? I don't know. Even their family when visiting from the UK, they even spend time picnicking at picnics, they spend time at the beach and so on. They were like, nothing happened whatsoever. And if you think about Kate and Jerry's schedule, They were in and out of countries following Maddie's disappearance so quick, at times even in the same day. Now they are in Amsterdam, the next minute they are back in Portugal. Of course, I think they were using the private jet given by the business tycoon Brian Kennedy, allegedly, or another wealthy backer. Yeah. Anyway, going back to EuroMedLab, you've noticed this event is every 2 years. Oh, for God's sake, that LED light is off again. Oh, okay, never mind. Anyway, going back to EuroMedLab, you've noticed this event is every 2 years, and for every 2 years this event is not happening, there is another one called World Lab Congress. These both are part of the IFCC, the International Federation of Clinical Chemistry and Laboratory Medicine. The president of IFCC is Graham H. Bistol. Dr. Bistol worked for almost 30 years as a top-grade biochemist at the Glasgow Royal Infirmary in the UK. He retired from his lab position in 2009 when he was elected president of the IFCC. He served 2 3-year terms through 2014, working with hundreds of dedicated professionals from the 89 IFCC member countries and visiting 50 countries to promote the contribution of laboratory medicine to healthcare. Dr. Bistol developed an early interest in supporting professional bodies. He served as an executive committee member of the Society for Endocrinology and was treasurer of the British Thyroid Association. He served as National Meetings Secretary, chair and president of the UK's Association for Clinical Biochemistry. He was elected to the Council of the Royal College of Pathologists and served as its first non-medical vice president. Dr. Bistol was a founding member of Clinical Pathology Accreditation UK and chaired the steering committee for clinical chemistry of the UK National External Quality Assessment Service. He worked on the pilot study that led to the formation of the UK program Modernising Scientific Careers. His involvement in international clinical chemistry started in 1996 when he helped to organize the World Lab meeting in London. He served as secretary of the European Communities Confederation of Clinical Chemistry and Laboratory Medicine, which is now the European Federation within IFCC. Dr. Bistol led the largest biochemical endocrinology unit in the UK, which provided specialized endocrine assays for Scotland and provided opportunities for collaborative clinical research. This work resulted in more than 170 original peer-reviewed publications and was recognized when Dr. Bistol was awarded honorary fellowship of the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow. It's also worth mentioning another thing. The Lewandowski group is not related to any of the Lewandowski individuals I just mentioned, but this group, I think that this guy's name is Joseph Lewandowski. This group is part of University of Oxford and the University of Warwick. My interest in this group came up when I realized what they are researching and studying, apart from the obvious, which is the name. So, at University of Warwick, the Lewandowski group focuses on development and applications of solid-state and solution nuclear magnetic resonance to study structure, dynamics, and interactions of biological systems in the context of integrated structural biology. Nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy is the use of the phenomena to study the physical, chemical, and biological properties of matter. Chemists use it to determine molecular identity and structure. Medical practitioners use magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, a multidimensional NMR imaging technique for diagnostic purposes. So they are connected, MRI and NMR, which is the nuclear magnetic resonance. Jerry McCann, as we know, is an expert in cardiac MRI. Then, at the University of Oxford, the Lewandowski group focuses on, and I quote, understanding how alterations to early human development affect long-term disease risk and how to reduce risk through nutritional and lifestyle interventions. Disruptions to normal development, including exposure to pregnancy complications, such as being born preterm, are risk factors for early heart failure, stroke, and cardiovascular events. To study early developmental changes, we use multimodality imaging, activity monitoring, questionnaire data, and birth records, as well as blood sample collection to study cellular pathways in fetal through to young adult human cohorts. End of quote. So again, the focus seems to be on the heart. Jerry McCann, according to his University of Leicester profile, is a National Institute for Health Research professor in experimental medicine and professor of cardiac imaging, honorary consultant cardiologist at the University of Leicester. Okay, I love this part. So I'm thinking, what if the reason they were all at the same location in the UK before traveling to Portugal was to meet up, right? Possibly have a briefing and discuss the plan once they get to Portugal. Carry out that same plan in Portugal and then finish off the findings once the plan went through. Finalize the project, which will be presented at Euromed Lab later in June 2007. And then, if you look closely at the Ocean Club's guest list, most of these people had kids of the same age or similar ages, 2, 3, 4 years old. The most predominant, I think it's around 3 years old. And I think that there is something about the age here as well, you know. What are the odds? Tell me, what are the odds that so many people with kids of the same age and appearance would be at the same time at the Ocean Club, out of season, and all of them would be in the medical field? Most of them flying from Gatwick, staying between the same dates, most using the same booking package. I mean, come on, this is 1 in a million. The odds, if you ask me, are just the same as winning the lottery. Honestly. And another thing, I'm starting to see a pattern here. You have all these scientists and professionals, each of them specializing in their own area, right? It looks like someone took a list of doctors, professors, scientists, and professionals and started picking from that list what would be suitable for the project, for a project. It might seem that these individuals on the Ocean Club's guest list are not connected to each other, but look at it another way. Think of the bigger picture, right? You have more than 20 individuals, each of them specializing in their own area. They seem to be like a piece of the puzzle individually, but when you add them together, they complete the puzzle. It seems that the group was created for a purpose. It seems that UK is the base, Portugal was probably the hideout, as they were not known in Portugal, and possible Euromed Lab could have been the presentation of the findings and moving forward. I'm just speculating here, purely speculating. It does seem plausible to me. I mean, I don't know about you. How do you think it sounds? And this is all for today's video. I feel really bad that I couldn't say for certain which one of the individuals I mentioned is the one on the guest list, but I thought that it's best if I just give you all the info I can find and you know, you can make up your mind. So please let me know once you decided in the comments below which one do you think it really was. Which one? I'm waiting. No, I'm actually looking, this fake nails fell off. Yeah, I did my own nails. You know, you don't actually need training or beauty school to do your own nails, fake nails. I do my nails all the time and I didn't get any training for it. Yay! Who cares anyway? Okay, many thanks for watching today's video. Before you go, please don't forget to check that Christmas gift ideas list. The link is in the description below. I put up together a gift ideas list, so you don't need to scroll tens of thousands of Amazon pages to get what you're looking for. I am an Amazon influencer. It's not my shop, but as an Amazon influencer, any sale through my link will earn me a 10% commission. And many thanks for those of you who've already made purchases through it. Thank you. This is helping me and my channel enormously. Thank you so much. And also, please make sure if you learned anything from today's video, don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button below. Also make sure you hit the notification bell so you are the first one to know about any new videos I upload. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and stay safe. Bye bye.